Hi folks, G3 here, and welcome to another instalment of my journey to go green. In today's video, I'm going to talk about electric vehicles, EVs, and in particular one Chinese EV manufacturer. I've been following the fortunes of a few EV manufacturers from China, the people like XPeng, Li Autos, but also Nio, mostly because I've bought shares in XPeng, Nio and Li Autos. In no way am I a financial advisor, so I'm not covering anything relating to buying shares in this video, but I thought it was important to note that I do have shares in Nio. Now, I've covered them previously in another of my videos where I talked about the battery swap offering of battery as a service. So the electric vehicles have a battery pack underneath that can be dropped out and replaced by a full battery pack at a battery exchange station. What I wanted to talk about is the fact that Nio have their Nio Day coming up on the 9th of January. So similar to Tesla having Tesla Day, where they make their announcements to their shareholders, Nio has that coming up on the 9th of January. It was originally due to be in 2020, but because of issues surrounding COVID, that was moved forward into early 2021. Nio have recently had an offering on the New York Stock Exchange of 68 million American depository shares at a price of $39. So basically they were offering to the market extra shares to bring in money, which is an opportunity for them to increase their spend in areas without having to take out loans. So it does mean that they got in an awful lot of money, and they say that they plan to use the net proceeds for research and development of new products and the next generations of autonomous driving technologies. They're also looking at sales and service network expansion and improving their market penetration and just general corporate purposes, apparently, but obviously the majority of that's going to be on R&D. So this is an opportunity for Nio to really push forward and improve their technologies even further. So there's a potential for them to be coming out with some amazing advancements, one of which is expected to be announced on Nio Day. So let's have a look through at some of those speculations that have been mentioned in various different press. Now, I've been looking a lot at various different financial press because this information obviously is relevant to shareholders that have been interested in what's coming up on Nio Day. So that's where I've found out a lot of this information, and I'll include links underneath so that you can get an idea there. So the first thing that's speculated to be announced is that they are expected to announce a few launches. So the first one is talking about their first sedan. Now they've got a range of models that are 2 letters and a number. So they've got EC6, ES8 and ES6. So this new sedan, which they don't currently have a sedan, is listed as ET, I believe. I don't know about a number. And it would be their 4th mass-produced model after the EC6, ES8 and ES6. The speculation is suggesting that it could have a coupe design like the Audi A7, and it's believed that they could start manufacturing the model towards the 4th quarter of 2021. It's believed that it's likely to be a 2 electric motor model, so one at the front and one at the rear axle, with a combined output of about 400 kilowatts and obviously be a 4-wheel drive system. It's speculated that it could have a range of over 450 kilometres and do a 0 to 100 kilometres in 4.7 seconds. So that's the first thing. They're potentially going to be bringing out a new model, a sedan, which will help them push further into the Chinese market. And obviously the models that they're coming out with there could potentially be coming out in Europe in the reasonably near future. It's great that they're likely to be launching another model, but currently the Nio range are outside of my budget. The EC6 is priced, I believe, at 448,000 Chinese yen, which equates to 51,000 in sterling. The ES8 is 468,000 yen, and that is 53,000 pounds sterling. And the ES6 is a cheaper model, that's 358,000 yen, and that comes in around 41,000 pounds sterling. I don't know what level this ET would be priced at, but I would imagine that it's not going to be a cheap option. So whilst they're coming out with these new advancements, they're not really going to be coming within my budget if they do come into the European market. But in theory, it should start pushing down prices in general. The second announcement that is expected is that they are expected to announce a 150 kilowatt hour battery pack, which could in theory increase the range of its EVs to over 900 kilometres, so 560 miles approximately. And the new pack is expected to be compatible with all the existing Nio models. So they currently have a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack that they launched at the start of November, on the 6th of November, and that provides a 615 kilometre range according to like NEDC standards. So in real world situation, it's going to be lower than that, but at least you've got a benchmark. So this new one, the 150 kilowatt hour battery pack, would take it to the 900 kilometres, 560 mile range in NEDC standards, which is fantastic. That's quite some distance. Obviously, still not enough to do Land's End to John O'Groats in one swoop. That's about 837 miles, I think, is the shortest distance, according to Google Maps. Obviously something that Mr. EV, Andrew Till, did recently, and he could have done a fair chunk of it with this size battery in one go. So that range is fantastic. Now, they're coupled with Nio's battery swap technology. That is a phenomenal proposition. You've got this 560 mile range battery pack. You're running it down to near empty, going to the battery swap and just basically paying for a new battery to be swapped in. And the pricing for these is pretty much just the price of the electricity, which is competitive. The next item that they're rumoured to be announcing is it's coming out with its second generation battery swap stations in China. They're going to involve a lower construction cost and contain more batteries than previously. Currently, they have the capability to swap around about 100 batteries per day at each of these stations, and they're going to be taking that up to in excess of 400 per day, I believe, so 4 times more than the current offering. Nio are also believed to be looking to speed up the deployment of the battery swapping stations in China next year as well, and looking at adding, wow, 1 new station per day. I mean, that's quite a bit of extra coverage. So obviously they don't have that coverage in Europe at present because they're not over here. But if they are getting the techniques in place in China and understanding the technology, then that should mean that they've got a lot of learnings when it comes to transitioning this over to Europe. It would take some time to roll out battery swap stations in Europe, and obviously they'd be needing to concentrate on certain areas where it's going to be most effective for them, I would imagine. You would expect that potentially it could be Norway as their first chosen base because of the uptake of electric vehicles over there. So I guess that might be their first port of call if they were going to do it, and they'd be rolling out the battery stations in key areas. But with a 560 mile range, that would mean that they could potentially not have to have these battery stations quite as close together as maybe they were originally with their 100 kilowatt hour battery. And obviously if they've got the technology to increase their battery size up to this level, then others will surely be announcing similar increases. One of the benefits of Nio's battery as a service is it enables them to reduce the price of the new cars because people are renting the battery packs so that they don't have that cost included in the original car price. Now, I know obviously in the past it was done in the UK and elsewhere to reduce the price of the cars, but also to alleviate people's concerns about the longevity of batteries. But here, where they're swapping out the entire battery packs and people are renting those packs, it opens up quite an interesting possibility. So they reduce the price of new cars by approximately 70,000 Chinese yen, which is around about £8,000 sterling. So that can get knocked off the price of a new car. The rental price for a 70 kilowatt battery subscription starts from around about 980 yen, which is approximately £111 sterling per month. So it's enabling people to knock off a reasonable chunk of the car prices, which means I guess that the ES6 would probably be equivalent of around about £33,000 sterling if it was available here in the UK on comparable price. And then with the monthly rental of the battery at £111 per month approximately, then that makes it more accessible potentially. So it's an interesting proposition. Now I know that I've had comments before in other videos where people have said that it's been tried, battery swapping, it hasn't worked and the like, but it's working in China. And so I could see it potentially coming over here and being a viable service, certainly in areas that have a huge EV uptake, such as Norway. I could see it potentially working there. So it'd be interesting to see how that rolls out. The next thing that they're anticipated to talk about on Nio Day is an announcement of an upgrade to their advanced driver assistance system platform. Now the speculation is that this is going to feature LIDAR technology, so light detection and ranging. Now, this uses laser pulses to build a 3D model of the environment around the car, and it essentially helps autonomous vehicles to see other objects such as cars, people and the like. Nio have been partnering with Intel through their Mobileye company, and so the speculation is that this LIDAR technology would then sort of take them up to level 4 autonomy, and what this represents is that cars are officially driverless in certain situations, so self-driving. That is what is anticipated to be talked about, so it'd be interesting to see whether that is announced and how far they've gone with this progress and whether they're going to be pushing others to also be going in this direction. Now, personally, it's not something that interests me. I'm not interested in cars that are going to be driving themselves. I much prefer the experience of driving myself and knowing that things are within my control. But there are scenarios where driverless or self-driving cars are useful in closed environments where they can sort of operate independently, so closed facilities and that kind of thing. I can see them being valuable there. I'm really not a fan of having all of these self-driving cars out on the road and, yeah, trusting others. The final thing that Nio are anticipated to talk about are their expansion plans, and this is talking about their expansion into the EU. Now, obviously, it's exciting to know what their expansion plans are. I would anticipate that their first market would be Norway because of the EV uptake. It just makes sense for them to be rolling out there in a similar way that obviously XPeng have just rolled out into Norway. I would like to see them coming over to the UK, and it would be awesome to have a chance to test drive some of their cars in the UK, but I don't see that happening for a little while yet, but it'd be great to learn what their plans are. So when it comes to my buying plans for an EV, my thoughts are that I will probably be getting a second-hand one at the moment, with a view to waiting a year or two until some of these more advanced cars are in the market and prices have been pushed down and there's more variety. So maybe it'll be that time that I'll be looking at perhaps a Nio as an option in the future in a couple of years' time. Who knows? It's exciting times. So there we have it, folks. There's a little bit of a rundown for what is anticipated to happen at Nio Day 2021 on the 9th of January. We covered things like the launch of their new model, which is anticipated to be the ET. So that is their sedan, and that's obviously quite exciting because it will be an additional model in the market. It will help push other manufacturers to advance and hopefully bring down prices in general as there's more competition. We also talked about them potentially announcing a new battery, so that was the 150 kilowatt hour version of the battery, which would give them a range of approximately 560 miles. They're also potentially going to be talking about their second generation battery swap stations that are going to be able to allow them to make up to 400 battery swaps in a day. They're also expected to be talking about advancements to technology and potentially announcing an upgrade to their advanced driver assistance system with the LIDAR technology. They're also potentially going to be talking about expansion plans into Europe, so that will be something that I'm really keen to learn more about and understand what they're going to be doing in the near future. So that's it, folks. That's forthcoming Nio Day. I'll obviously be keeping a close eye, and I'll come out with a follow-up video to talk about what they have announced and my thoughts on the sort of way that that's driving technology advancements in China and potentially over here in Europe, and when these things are going to be coming over here. But thanks for watching. It'll be great to read your comments about advancements in EVs in general and Nio, your thoughts on their kind of cars, whether you've had experience of driving them, thoughts on the battery swap situation and battery as a service. Is it something that you'll be interested in and take up? It's certainly of interest to me. I mean, driving into a battery swap station and changing over your battery for a new one and not having to charge up, sounds fantastic to me and seems to be a reasonable price level. So yeah, it'd be great to hear your thoughts, folks. Leave your comments, as always, much appreciated, and I'll do my best to answer them and learn from what you're talking about as well. So if you enjoyed this video, then please click the like button. It encourages YouTube to share the video with others and helps them to find this as well. And please don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and click the bell icon so you get notified about any new videos that I load up. Well, until next time, folks, bye.